Hard. Okay. Welcome to today's week 3, where we're going to learn about driving traffic and paid ads. If you have been with us up until this week, I am so excited to share with you this week's training. If not, um, please watch week 1 and week 2. We created an offer and we created a landing page for that offer. And today we're going to go into the psychology that's going to help you refine both of those things if you haven't already done them. So I'm so excited about today's training because this is literally my area of expertise. And what I mean by that is, if you don't know me or haven't, heard my story yet, my name is Tara Patton Weisner, and I have been in the advertising industry since 1987. That's right. You may think, Tara, you don't look like you've been alive since 1987. I know I look good. But I was 6 years old when I did my first national commercial. And that was my very first introduction to the power of advertising. And in one day, I pretended to play the piano and I made $12,000. Well, actually, my parents did because I didn't see a dime of it. Because again, I was 6 years old. But there's no resentment there, I promise. And but I learned at that time, like the power of advertising and not just the money behind it, but like the power of the messaging. And the only thing the director told me that day, and again, I'm about to turn 45 next week. So this is almost 40 years ago. The only thing the director told me that will always stick in my head that day, he says, whatever's happening in your mind is what's going to be happening everywhere else. And as a 6 year old, I was like, ooh, that's pretty powerful. So, because I didn't know how to play the piano, and I was like hitting the keys, and I was like, okay, and he's like, it looks like you don't know how to play the piano. I'm like, because I don't, and and he said to me like, nobody knows that. They're not going to hear anything. I need you to hit that piano like you love it, like you know exactly what you're doing, like you're Beethoven. And he put all these lines, and Susan, you're an actress, you know how this goes. He put all these lines in my head that helps me have a belief from inside of me that was apparent on the outside of me, which is why I got paid the big bucks that day and continued to be successful throughout my childhood acting career and then transitioning into modeling. If you've ever been in front of a camera and you're like, I don't like taking pictures, okay, you're going to look like you don't like taking pictures. And I have so many people say to me, oh, you always look so good in pictures. No, I don't. I was a model for a long time, so I know my face and angles, but I also know that you got to take a lot of them. That's the secret. You need to take a series of photos, and you're going to have a good one if you take 10, right? There's going to be one that's good. So today we're going to talk a lot about that internal mindset that's going to reflect in everything you do. So we learned about the offer. We learned about the landing page. And if you haven't already, I love lovable.dev. That's lovable, LOVEABLE.dev. I've been diving into it and working with it, and it's so amazing. So if you're having trouble with a landing page, go there. You can actually use it for free, and it's next level. In fact, we did a project with one of the women in this group, and you can see her landing page at tools.brittanypeeler.com if you would like to check out what Lovable does. And because you're watching this, you get the promo code for Inward, INWARD. So you can get 50 tools to clear the static in your mind because it is literally just along the lines of what we're talking about today. So thank you, Brittany. That's tools.Brittany, Peeler, Peeler.com, and enter Inward and get that tool for free. And it is all made by Lovable. So you can see an example of what we've kind of done up to this point. And Brittany has an amazing page now, just like the rest of you do. And Tamika, Susan, if you want to put your landing pages in the chat or we want to feature them, no worries. You can go ahead and do that, and we could drive traffic there too for anybody watching the recording. So what's exciting about today's training is now that we have created these things and we're talking to our ideal clients, hopefully, now we want as many people as possible to see them. You have this beautiful thing that you've created, and it's like having a party that nobody got invited to, So we are going to send out our invitations today. So I've prepared a slideshow in Gamma. I did email you the slides. I'm not going to read you a slideshow. I'm not going to do that to you. I'm going to use it to kind of just walk through the points today, but you do have the slides to kind of go in depth. There is a lot of information, and I will also include a training, like a recording of something I did with a client of mine to build a meta ad out. So you can literally walk along and build this ad out with that training. It is about 40 minutes long. So I didn't want to take up our training doing that today. I want to touch on the mindset and the foundation, and then the kind of 30,000 foot view of ads and some ways you can do things without spending money on ads right away. So everybody excited to get started today? All right, here we go. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Let's see. Share. And here we go. So, and if you are looking for a good presentation app, Gamma, Gamma, I put my images in here and my color codes and everything, and they just they did an amazing job putting this together. So basically, this is how to drive traffic, the Paid Ads Masterclass. That's what I'm calling it. But we're going to talk about meta ads, Google video. I do not recommend Google SEO or search anymore. If you are an ads creator and you want to help local businesses, we can talk about local service ads as well. That is a very good service to offer people because it is only a cost per lead. It's not per click or anything like that. So they only pay per lead, and their results are actually delivered much higher in the Google results page. So YouTube video ads and the streaming platforms that I use, where I also get a percentage of the ad spend as a commission. So that's kind of my top level view again of the ad distribution platforms. But today we're going to talk about where your conviction meets those clicks and the mindset that shapes your revenue. So a lot of what I needed to learn was sales. Basically, I needed to learn how to oh, hang on. This is my first time using this, so there we go. I needed to learn how to. Are the captions bothering anyone? Should I take those off? Let's see. Anyways, all right, we'll keep going. Time versus money. All right. So the real cost of traffic, I'm just going to break this down. Again, I'm not going to read you the whole slides, but organic content is going to cost you your time, right? Creation time, all the things you get to do to put that content out, usually daily output. And the algorithm will, favor things that are consistent. So we're looking for consistency with content that is organic, but it will build over time. I know, for example, the paid ads, right? A lot of people come to me and they say, "Hey, Tara, I've got, $500 I want to put behind paid ads today." I say, "Okay, what content have you put out that's performed well?" So I can look at their page and decipher exactly who they're talking to, and we can create an ad that will convert based on the content that has been successful. And the algorithm does know, how people are engaging with your content. So I always recommend to people, if you don't have organic content that hasn't hit, let's keep building organically, because you're still looking for that messaging within your presentation, your delivery, so that people really trust you. Because if you take something that isn't hitting for free, it's not going to hit if you put money behind it. So that's the mindset I really want to shift everyone to today, is like, yes, I know you hear everybody talk about paid ads, and I mean, I've been doing them the last 10 years, and I've made a lot of people millions of dollars with the ads, not only that I've created, but also helped distribute and build. I spent 4 years in corporate America with a Sam's Club member access platform, formerly the Media Group, and I managed over $50 million worth of ads. I was a strategist and a campaign manager. So I've seen a lot of people advertise wrong, and they think, "Oh, I just need more money behind it." And they don't. You just need a better ad. So today I really want to drive that point home that it doesn't matter how much money you have to put behind your ads. It matters how good your ad is. Is it doing a couple of different things? And I've seen a lot of ads in my day. And as I mentioned, the last 10 years have been primarily focused on creating ads. And I still, to this day, make money from ads I created 5, 6 years ago because I have a profit share agreement with the vendors that I did those ads for. So I still get paid. It's not a lot, but if you get a little money coming from a lot of directions, that's a lot. But I love that that ad is still creating conversions for the company I created it for. So that's the mindset again I want to drive home today, especially for my ad creators in this group. You have the ability to create something that is a machine that people can use repetitively so they don't have to keep creating new ads. And let's give some examples of that, right? So I'm going to say a couple of slogans and, just let me know if you can finish this sentence, put it in the chat. Okay. So, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there, right? Like, melts in your mouth, not in your hand, right? M&M, State Farm. So these things are catchy. They're jingly. They bring visuals to your mind. Geico is another great example of the most ridiculous ads on the planet, but it sits in your mind. Like even if you see one and you're like, that was so dumb, but now you're thinking about it and you're talking about it. Those are great ads. Those are great ads because it gets the viewer to take an action as long as they're your people. So that's what we're talking about today, the difference between organic, paid ads, and how they can actually work together. Okay. So the mindset shift that I really want everybody to take on is the difference between am I positioning myself as I am or as I want people to see me, as I wish to be seen. And the difference is everything, right? So I have built these systems for so many people, being a group coach and a person leading a cohort. This is my first time doing that. I'm not pretending like I know what I'm doing. I'm even building alongside you, right? I'm being really authentic. I'm doing it scared. I'm doing it anyways. And I'm saying, hey, like, I know this and I can work with you all one on one, but I feel the power in the community and I just need to start somewhere. And I trust you all enough to build this with me and give me your feedback and tell me how I can be better because you know how much I love feedback. And I need that from you, right? So I'm being really vulnerable and transparent about like, I don't know what I'm doing with this grouping coaching thing, but I'm just doing it because that's what we have to do. And I believe that what I've done for other people and large businesses and corporations can work for each one of you. And would I buy this for at full price right now? Absolutely. Because I know that if somebody had given me these 4 basic steps and just said, do this, Tara, 10 years ago, it would have saved me a lot of time and money and headache with my own personal offers. So I'm so grateful to all of you that are here and anybody that's watching the replay because I am. I'm so convicted about this. And I just really believe there is a way for all of us to live the life of our dreams without having to sacrifice our time, our energy, or work for people that just don't care and don't see us and they don't see our value and I think that's the other thing I want to touch on today. Have you lived it, right? Like, so a lot of times, and I've been hearing this argument because around January, there was a big sort of anti-AI campaign, it felt like. I just came up against a lot of resistance externally that was also resistance internal, right? Because what comes up around you is happening inside of you, usually is my experience. I don't know if that happens for you, but that's mine. And so I started seeing a lot of people that were like, and they were afraid of it and had a narrative around how it was not authentic, how it was stealing jobs, how it was taking energy. And I mean, there's all these reasons that like I didn't even consider, right? So I think it's so important to think, okay, actually, have I sold one ad to someone at the price point that I want? Have I sold? Yeah, I have sold a lot of them. Have I actually broken through my own limiting beliefs? have I sat at my computer or stared at a wall long enough to say, okay, I am enough and I can do this and I just need to move into action. It doesn't need to be massive action. I just need to take a step. And we were saying earlier before the recording started, like just breadcrumb it, just step by step, just make some moves every day. When I first started learning the skill of creating AI videos that I knew would replace the actual filming of commercials, which is what my business was prior to developing Wisner AI ads, I had an advertising business, and we would spend anywhere from $15,000 to $30,000. We would spend other people's money, of course, to create ads, and it would take weeks, months. Crews of people, and the closet you see behind me is filled with camera equipment and audio equipment that's all gathering dust because of what I learned to do with AI instead. So when people come to me and they're ready to spend 15, 30 grand and they say, hey, we need another commercial. And I say, hey, I can do one for you for 2,500. They're like, what? Yes, sign me up. Right. So it's that compared to what? And I mean, and that's why I'm creating something that I'm like, well, maybe I could build something like this for them so we could still get that 15, 30 grand from them. If they've got a budget for that, let's find a way to help them to market to more people. So do you believe it? Have you lived it? And can you say it plainly? And my friend Brittany says this is called a brand snap. And she learned that from one of her mentors as well. And it's like, we have so many opportunities when people are like, what is it you do? People ask me that all the time. When I lived in LA, they would ask me that. They didn't care what my name was. They would ask me that right out of the, what do you do? What is it that you do? Or they would tell me what I do. That's my favorite. Oh, you must be a model. I'm retired, but thank you. Um, but can you say it plainly, right? I help businesses build ad systems and machines that they can turn on at any time to generate more leads for their business. Tamika, who's in here, says it really. She says, I build it and then you run it, right? Say it super plainly, right? It doesn't need to have big words. It doesn't need to be a long sentence. It needs to be brand snap, like Brittany says, or Jen says. And Brittany's passed on to me. And I love that because it's like, you just got to make it snappy. So many people are so boring. That's why it's so easy to do what it is we do. All right. Because we just have very little competition because so many people are doing it wrong, or they're just not doing it at all. That's the only wrong way to do it, if you ask me. If you're doing it and it's boring or it's ugly or whatever, I'm going to cheer you on anyways because you're doing it, right? That's the difference. Am I doing it or not doing it? Second mind shift, I want you to really embody, and these all apply to your marketing, right? Because again, it's got to come from within. I want you to build a business that grows as you do. So again, like I said, I am not pretending like this isn't my first group coaching experience as the facilitator, because it is. Now, have I been in group coaching? Oh boy, yes. And in fact, the last one that I was in that actually did provide me with a skill that made me a lot of money, I saw an opportunity to do something from my heart, and people started coming to me and asking me questions and saying, how do I do this? How do I sell? What should my email say? What should this say? What should that say? And I was like, there's a real need here for somebody that cares to not just take your money and show you something, but to help you do it too. And I have a heart for that. And that is what I know I was created to do. And so I love this mindset shift that I had to make. And again, these are all coming from my own experience. I didn't have a content problem. I had an expression problem because even in my content, I was still blocking myself. I was still not saying what I felt, right? Like information is so not anybody can go anywhere or from their phone and get any information they want. It's an overwhelming amount of information. I'm in, like, I know somebody said it earlier, a ton of different school groups. What's the difference between this one and all the other ones? Well, yeah, the information is there, but it's that community. It's that accountability. It's, that thing that says, hey, you know what? I actually believe what this person's saying and that she gives a crap about what happens to me and my business and she wants to help me. So I'm going to go with her because she's really doing it and I want to really do it, So I think presence is really important. So that belief transfer, right? I want you to have the belief that I have, but I can't just like take it out of my chest and give it to you. I can just encourage you to have the same experience so that you believe like I believe because you did that. And you're like, I did that. I can do that because I cheered you on. And I was like, here's what you're going to do and here's how we're going to do it. And then you just keep going. And yes, that's right. Or if it's not right, we learn and we keep going anyways. So the possibility of this happening and being real was not available to me until I started really doing it. Visualization is another great tool I'm a big fan of. I do a meditation every morning by the great Eileen Wilder, who I'm a big fan of, and I have come this close to giving that woman $30,000 on a number of occasions, and I'm like, don't do it, Tara, don't do it, because I like to call myself a course junkie, but really I hope I never stop wanting to get better and learn from people who are a little bit farther along than me that I really admire and respect. Because especially Eileen Wilder, like she is just the epitome of what I want my career to look like. And I think I mean, I want mine to look like mine, but like how she's helped so many people and she's the queen of stages. She's evolved in this way that is just so admirable. She loves the Lord. Like she used to be a pastor, like everything about her. So I get to look at the people that I admire and say, what is it that I love about that person? Because the reason I love that about them is because something about that reflects in me. And actually, I'm going to read you a really quick quote today. This was a really good one that somebody sent me. Um, and it says love. The acronym for love is letting others voluntarily evolve. Okay? Letting others voluntarily evolve. LOVE. The beginning of love is to let those we love be perfectly themselves and not to twist them to fit our image. Otherwise, we love only the reflection of ourselves we find in them. And so I love that. But what you see in other people is a reflection of you for the most part. So real love when it comes to relationship is obviously doing that, letting people be themselves and not expecting them to be someone they're not or do things the way you would do them. But the root of that whole premise is knowing and loving yourself. And I didn't know this was going to take this tangent today, but that was really what I was struggling with the most was I did not value myself. I did not have enough confidence in myself. From spending a lifetime of being given my lines, I spent my 20s and 30s self-destructing in every way you can think of. I went to go work on cruise ships for a few years as the port shopping ambassador, and I sold millions and millions of dollars worth of jewelry and did, stage presentations for 3 years. I behaved very badly, and but I still made a lot of money for a lot of people, including myself. And I think about those times and I think, man, if I had just had a little bit more respect for myself, or I hadn't been so mad at my first husband, who's now married to my maid of honor from that first wedding, I maybe would have made some better decisions and taken those opportunities in a whole nother way. But that's not what happened. And I can't turn back the clock, but I can learn from those things. And I am going to share with you my scars and not my wounds because I have healed from that because I've done the work. And that's what I want to say today is no matter what happens, we don't have a time machine. We can't turn it back. And we can't make different decisions 5 years from now, right? But we can take everything we have today and give it everything we have and say, I'm not going to waste another second, another opportunity, and watch another person succeed at what I want to be doing. I'm just not going to do it. So I hope that my preaching today has encouraged you to really just go for it. Just love yourself, know yourself, express yourself completely. So exactly what people are looking for is that level of freedom that you are allowing yourself to express. And in the last few weeks, especially for me, has been so exciting for me because I just didn't even realize this was inside me. I didn't even know. And in fact, I had so much resistance to it when my friend asked me to do something like this. I was like, no, I didn't even skip a beat. I immediately was like, not for me. And that level of resistance was assigned to me because of the work that I've done, that I had work to do on that and I had to face my fear and do it anyways. So I take action. That's the other thing. So Inspired movement. That's what we're talking about today. Now, I know I'm spending a lot of time on the mindset shifts, but I can't stress this enough. This is the key. This is the keys to the kingdom, right? Because from within comes without. So, or you know what I mean there. But I'm telling you that if your marketing, if your messaging, if your offer is not fully aligned with who you are and what you want to do, you are not going to be able to sell that. You're just not. Because if you don't believe it, why should anybody else? So, I mean, I could tell you, we could do sales training all day. I could tell you how to overcome any objection. I can tell you what questions to ask, how to listen. I could tell you about sales all day, but I'll tell you the one thing that everybody needs to know that nobody teaches. People decide in those first 10 seconds whether they're going to buy from you or not. And the one thing it is your aura. It's your confidence. It's your body language. They know right away whether they're going to buy anything from you immediately. 10 seconds every time. I've watched so many scenarios and been in them. And if you come on like, hey guys, I have this thing I think you're gonna like, and you know, yeah, no, I don't want it, even if it's free. Okay. But if you're like, today we're gonna change your life, I can't wait. Tell me all about yourself. See the difference? Okay. So you don't have a sales problem, you have an intention problem. So what does that mean? That means if you need to make rent and it's coming through your pores in what you're saying and selling, not good. People know that, they can smell that. So, do you really care about what happens to people to the point where you will do whatever it takes to get them the result that you're offering? Yes, I do. I think all of you know that about me by now, and I hope you do. If not, I'm going to reassure you that I will put my own money behind it, like whatever it takes. Like let's do this. And can you walk away? Right? That's another thing. Like I go into every sales transaction, not this is a big deal. And I've made a lot of big deals. I've made 7-figure deals for people, not myself yet, but for other people. And you have to come with that attitude of it doesn't matter if you do this or not, right? Doesn't matter to me. And again, that takes time and practice. But if you really practice it, like it changes the whole dynamic. You're just going to have a conversation with someone instead of, I really need this. So, this is really important to have your intentions and your motive detached from the outcome. So, we take the action, we let go of the result. And then that leading with value. I'm going to talk throughout our training, not today, but throughout the community about the 8 spiritual laws. Now, I am a big fan of spiritual laws, and they're biblical. They're in every 12-step program you can think of. They're everywhere. They're all around you. The symbolism of them. But one of my very favorites is the law of reciprocity. And I've written it out here today. It's when you genuinely give value first, which is why we're doing this whole training. When you give that value first, and, and a real solution to someone's problems, not your problem, but their problem, people will feel that. They will be naturally compelled to reciprocate, right? So, hey, here's this, I'm going to give you that. Like it's a law, spiritual law. So your ads, your content, your lead magnet, it should all lead with so much value that people are just blown away. And then they just most of and I don't know if this is the best way to say it, but most of what I've seen in my experiences, I don't sell anything. I don't sell anything. I literally listen to people. I tell them this is a great fit for you, and then I give them the next steps. I lead. I'm not selling because if I'm selling, then it makes it feel like I'm persuading them to do something they don't want to do. And I don't do that. I used to do that, never worked really well. I used to be one of those phone closers, and then I started doing it on Zoom. I got a certification for that. I was a top salesperson for a fitness guru. I made her $1 million in 3 months. I made her a bunch of money selling a $10,000 program. Sold over 100 of them in 3 months for her, and it was so easy because I didn't push anybody, and it was these people in the Midwest. It was people you didn't think had money, but somehow they found a credit card or a bank card, or they found $10,000 to give me information in an hour or sometimes less than that because they wanted the result that I was sharing with them that was possible, that other people had gotten. They wanted to change their life so badly that they were willing to pay that, right? And so many of them got so many amazing results. It was so cool to see them transform their lives. I remember one lady lost 11 pounds her first week. She had a lot to go, but it was like, wow, that's so cool. So not only are you giving people the opportunity to break outside their comfort zone, but you're giving them the framework and the blueprint to do it because they don't know how to do it. And that's what sales is. That's what your marketing should be. It should make people laugh. It should make them have an emotion. It should make them identify. Yeah, that's me. I need that. Thank you, Tara. Like, thank you for sharing that. I need that in my life. Here's my credit card. Where do I put it? Where can I punch in the numbers? Are you going to take the numbers? That's what real sales is, where you lead people to how can I pay you instead of which card will you be using, So that's the law of reciprocity. You give all that value first, and then people, without a doubt, are like, yeah, here's all the money that you want for that. Like, that seems like value to me. So it's like going to a car dealership, right? You can move to the next slide. If I go to a car dealership and I look in the lot and I see something I like and fits my like what I'm looking for, right? Did I go too far there? Hold on. Mind shift. No, we did that one. Okay. Then yeah, okay, drop the deal. And then you go back and forth and like, okay, let's get the pricing right, right? Because you can, because you're at a car dealership. And you go back and forth on price because it's like, okay, I have a number in my head, you have a number in your head, and then we've got to come to a price, right? So then that's necessary. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. I like to remind people that I'm not, running a garage sale, that this is the price. There's no guy I can go and negotiate with to get you a better deal because everybody knows you can do that at a car dealership, but I'm not really at a business. So whenever people ask me for a discount, I firmly say no because if I do give them a discount, then they know that I'm lying to them. They know that the price that I said isn't the actual value of it if I can give them a lower price for what I'm offering now. Again, so I think building that trust and that visibility, vulnerability with someone and saying, here's the price, and then standing behind it, saying, actually, it's 2,500 for a 60-second ad, and I'm not changing that for anybody or anything. That's really what people want to hear. They don't really want a lower price. They want confidence in your price that they're getting the best possible deal and the best possible product that you have to offer for that price. So a lot of times when people are asking for a discount, they're just asking for clarification that that is actually the best price for this thing. And it is because I say it is. And if you don't want to buy it, again, I'm going to walk away because a lot of other people do. And when you have that attitude, the people are like, whoa, whoa, wait, wait, wait. It's like boys. And again, I know we have mostly women here and men, if any men are watching, the minute we take it off the table, it's like, now I want it. It's just the way it is. All right. I'm going to move into the Meta Ads Masterclass because Meta is the number one place, I think, from my experience of where you can really, and that's Facebook and Instagram, of where you can really ramp things up. And I will include the setup training in this module so that you can see me actually walk through setting up in a campaign with Ariel and Maria and what that looks like. The campaign objective is the place to start, and it's all laid out in the order of most expensive to least expensive. So sales is going to cost you the most. If your goal is sales, those conversions are going to cost you the most. If your goal is awareness, it's going to cost you the least, meaning you're going to have a lower price per click because awareness is just spreading it to as many people as possible. So you're just going for eyeballs and awareness. And then the next tier would be traffic, right? So traffic, again, traffic usually to your website is what traffic means. So, or to a landing page. So if you're paying for traffic, you're paying for people to click that link. So again, you're paying per click. If you're paying for engagement, that's going to circle in on more engaged buyers. So people that have clicked on something similar to yours is who they'll be targeting. You're really narrowing down your targeting. So you're targeting less people, but this is going to cost you a little bit more than traffic, just like traffic is going to cost you a little bit more than awareness conversions. And then when you go to leads, it's going to cost you a little bit more than engagement. If you have a special app promotion, it's going to cost you a little bit more than leads. And if you specifically want sales, it's going to cost you the most. So there's a way around all of this. If you are new to ads, I would suggest sticking with awareness or traffic on any campaign just to get that learning curve out and get that data and get those clicks of people that are actually converting in the first 3 to 5 days, and then make lookalike audiences of the people who have actually clicked on whatever it is you're selling. And then you can take your own data instead of Meta's algorithm, and not have to pay high prices for sales and lead clicks that you would if that was your campaign objective with Meta. So that's a little trick there about campaign objectives if you're new to ads. If you're not new to ads and you do have that data already, let's go in hot with it. Because if you already know your people, right? And that's the next one, the audience targeting. So if you already know your people, like I know Brittany has Aligned Ashley, that's her focus. Aligned Ashley is her avatar, right? So we have three core targeting types in Meta. You've got the core, and then custom audiences, and then lookalike audiences. Now, I did just mention lookalike audiences, but those are people similar to your current customers, basically. Then the core audience would be based on their demographics, right? Interests, behaviors, those are a little bit more general. Your custom audience is your existing customers. So I can put my existing customers' information in. And as you can imagine, Facebook loves that. They want that information. Meta loves your data. So they want you to build a custom audience based on current existing customers, because your current existing customers are going to be probably like your future customers. So that's why we want to get that data together. So the data is super important. And it says start with lookalikes if you have data, because they do perform the best. So again, if you're new to ads, you're going to go awareness traffic as your campaign objective, and then grab a lookalike audience as your audience targeting based on your existing customers. Next, the ad creative. So for this, let me see if I can make this smaller. I don't know why this is, let's see. I'm just going to turn this off. And then I can't see the captions box, but let's see. Anyways, um, the ad creative. So the creative with Meta, there was an update last July, is everything. Video outperforms static, they say, but I've seen a lot of static images performing really well, especially on Instagram right now. I know we talked about carousels in week 1 on Instagram. Those hooks are really important because people spend more time. So the creative is everything. I suggest having up to 10 varieties of sizes, video, image, but up to 10. So 3 to 5 at minimum, but you can have up to 10 different creatives, and that's really what's going to sell this for you. It's going to get in front of everyone. And as somebody that's been in advertising a long time, what will happen is the creative will then be displayed using the new algorithm. They have Andromeda now, which is the Meta AI that decides which creative performs the best. So the more creative you give it, the better decision you can make. And then budget and bidding. They do have Advantage campaign budget. And, they say to start with at least $20 to $50 a day, but you can start with as little as $10 a day to get that learning phase out if you're new to this. But again, you want to spend at least 3 to 5 days learning. So you go into the learning phase, which is, okay, I need to figure out who's going to buy this. And in those 3 to 5 days, you're going to find out who's going to buy this. And you're going to find out who's going to buy this based on what ads we show them, what audience you've targeted, what your campaign objective is, and what that actually looks like. And then you get all that information. And then that's when you really juice it up and you put $50 behind it, $40 behind it. You put more money behind it, $100 behind it. I know people who spend thousands of dollars a day on Meta ads, and that is because they actually work. But if you're spending money on ads, here's your easy formula, right? You're going to spend less than you make. So if your offer is $2,500 and you spend $1,000 on ads every day, that makes sense, right? You're making $1,500 every day if you sell one, right? Makes sense. So do the ad math on that. don't get yourself in a bunch of trouble. Ask me questions. If you have ad specific questions, I can help you. Do not spend a bunch of money without having the data. That is something really important. Let's see. I'm trying to go to the next slide. Here we go. Here we go. All right. And so here's the deep dive into creative copy and funnel architecture. And again, these are your basics. So the hook, the bridge, the offer, and the call to action. I know you can put your ads and your ideas into all kinds of, Gemini and ChatGPT and Claude. But again, that's why I mapped out your mindset focus and your avatar focus, because nothing works better than you genuinely and authentically telling a story that grabs your ideal customer's attention, right? With some kind of contrarian thing, like if you're still doing this and wondering why it's not working, read this, right? You've got those first 2 to 3 seconds tops to grab somebody's attention. Otherwise, they're going to keep scrolling. And you can look at your own scrolling activity, because if for me, my ideal customer is usually who I was, right? The person that I was, that didn't know how to do all of this, that didn't know how to put it all together, that was taping everything together and trying to figure it out. So what would that person be doing? What would stop that person's scroll, right? So I really clearly know so well the person that I'm talking to, because I was them, right? And if that's not the case for you, okay, no problem. But know them intimately. What makes them tick? What is their real stopping point? What's going to grab their attention? So that hook is so important. And then the bridge, right? So you've got their attention now, and now attention is a commodity. So attention is the most important thing, that we are then going to take that attention and then agitate the problem, right? And what that means is we're going to introduce the solution, basically. And that works, right? Because we're going to tell them either a story, right? Like Russell Brunson talks about, hook, story, offer. It's a good one. The bridge is what I like to call it. But it bridges the gap between grabbing their attention and then taking them to the offer and then taking them into action. So a lot is happening in an ad, and it's really important to think about the different positioning too of your ad. So you have your hook and then your bridge. And that bridge is going to take them through a little journey to your offer. So by the time they get to your offer, they're like, that's a no-brainer. Make it stupid simple to say yes, right? So what's the next step? Yeah, I want that. What's the next step? And we've all been in these funnels where we're like, here's my credit card. In fact, they make it so easy now. My credit card's already in some of these funnels already. They're like, Link will send me a something, and it's like, just send me a code. My credit card's already in there. Like, how is that even so easy that I don't even have to like change my mind? Like, it's just like I just hit a button and there it's done. Stupid simple. Um, for me, I don't do sales calls anymore unless I have already really gotten this person's attention and I know they're a serious buyer, because I don't waste my time talking to people that are going to not understand what I'm doing or be a pain in the butt. And I use my messaging and my ads and my outreach to really filter through the people that are serious, or the people that I want to work with. The people that I get to work with, they love me and what I do, and they treat me with respect. And then there are some people that, they could probably do a little better, but they still need my help. And then there are other people that don't. And those people I no longer work with. So, and I'm much happier because of it. So, even people that say yes to something, like, you still have to walk through a process and a filtering process of, is this my person? Is this my people? Because if you're just doing everything for everybody all the time, you're going to get like so exhausted, and you're not going to like it. Trust me. All right, and then the call to action, right? So that one action, one link, one outcome. I encourage all of you to pick one platform, one offer, one, just one focus this week. This is the homework for today, with driving traffic, and like, okay, how am I going to take just one person that is my ideal avatar and make them an offer that's stupid simple yes to say yes to, and make them really easy steps. Here's your next call to action. Here's how we're going to do this. Not just check out the website or send them a link to a page that they have to read through to get to the button. No. Click this link. Like, let's get started right now today. Okay? So I know all of you have made, hopefully, your offer, and then your landing page. And now today with what we're learning today, I hope we really dive into that offer and make it like 5-dimensional and really understand that person that we're talking to and the messaging that we're using. And then that landing page says the same thing because it's all built on top of each other, right? We're building a foundation. And then when we drive traffic to that page today, we're going to think about the different areas here. Top of funnel, right? That's the biggest. We're casting a wide net with their top of funnel. Top of funnel is getting as much attention as possible. And then you move them through the middle of funnel, right? So the top of funnel is people we're going to retarget. They're people that like where they're interested, they're shopping, they're maybe problem aware, but they don't maybe need it right now. But they clicked on something, so they're in the top. And then we take them through the middle of the funnel. That's how we retarget them. That's why they're in the middle now, because we're moving them down this funnel, right? We're going to get them to a masterclass. We're going to get them to our school group. We're going to get them to download something. We're going to get them a resource or a guide, or maybe send them to a YouTube video. We're going to get them to take an action really in the middle of the funnel. This is going to build their trust to get their email. You're going to have their email now. Bottom of the funnel. Boom. Those are your people. Those are the ones right here that have either bought in the past or have walked through, have seen your ads, and they're like, yeah, I really need that. Like, how do I find out more? These are people that are ready to buy what you have right now. So that's the difference. So we're casting a wide net and we're walking people through this journey. That's all a funnel is. Just like that. You want to make sure you have all these tracking pixels on your website. Meta especially has a really great pixel that gives you a lot of data and also gives Meta a lot of data. So of course they want you to have it on your site, especially if you're going to be doing Meta ads. But there is really important pieces that go along with all data. And I do that in every platform that I use data for. So let's see. And then the next one, I want to talk about these areas too. So Google Video, as I mentioned, that's really going to be the best for Google Ads, unless you have a local service ad for a local business, which is going to just be your cost per lead, as I mentioned earlier. Local service ads are killing it for service-based local businesses. So I work with a number of businesses like a pressure washing company, a painting company, people that only work in certain zip codes. YouTube in-stream ads on that is a Google ad basically, are the best. And I can show you how to set those up so they work really well and they give you a really low CPL or cost per lead. Streaming, I use vibe.co and I do get a 10% of all ad spend. It's a minimum of $50 a day. So that's a minimum of $5 a day I make for any ad that I make that I then distribute on their platform. And I can manage that campaign really easily. And if anybody of you are interested in setting up an ad on Vibe, I can show you the back end and some of the results that I've had, which are really good. Your cost per thousand or CPM on a streaming or connected TV ad should be between $20 and $25. And I've been averaging around 18 to 19. So again, it's all in how you set up that ad. So how you're reaching the most people, getting them to take an action at the lowest cost, because you are using such specific messaging in your ads that it's grabbing the right people's attention. So that's the fastest way. And I also I'm an Amazon person as well. That they do a lot of CTV. Or if you have a brand that has something on Amazon, that's a different side of the advertising with Amazon. But Amazon is taking over. I've seen a lot of high ticket and designer things on Amazon lately, which is really interesting. So if you're not on Amazon or using Amazon's data, because they have all of our data, think about it. They have all of the data of everything you buy, everything you like, everything that is in your shopping cart. Amazon knows. So they know exactly the dimensions of your entire personality, and they're taking that data and using it to sell more things to you. So that's a really important thing to be aware of, but also to use for your own business. And then I have different things with the Google that I can show you as well, but I'm running out of time. So I wanted to just walk through. We only have 2 more slides. Walk through. So we have the key elements to set up your ads for success, that clear offer architecture. What are you selling and who are you selling it to? If I watch your ad and I don't know who you're selling to and what you're selling, it is not ready for mass distribution yet. So again, I want you to really know that person like you can see them in front of you, your dream customer avatar. How Do they want you to talk to them? What is their real pain? What are they missing? What makes what you're doing specific, right? And so many people are making AI ads or making what am I doing that's specific? I have a couple of different trademarks in what I'm doing and the process that I'm doing. If you go to weisnerads.com, I mapped it all out. Here's exactly what happens. Boom. So that people can see. They need about 20, 30 minutes of their time, and they need to give me a few days, and we'll turn that around for them. So I have to, like this example here. I help women build six-figure coaching businesses. That's a category, right? But like getting specific, I help burnt out 9-to-5 moms replace their income in 90 days without a huge following. Now that's an offer. So that's marketing 101. I help blank achieve blank with or without blank. There's your marketing sentence. And that should be your elevator pitch as well. I help local businesses get more leads, more qualified leads in less than a week with an automated ad system. And I help them implement AI if necessary. Okay, so there you go. There's your marketing sentence. I want everyone to have that. I'm going to put that as part of the assignment today, that sentence really fleshed out, and put it in the community, in the school group if you'd like as well, to get some feedback on it. I help. Who do you help? What do you help them to achieve? And then what pain are you saving them from? Right? Clear offer architecture. And then you're tracking in pixels. Google and Meta have some really easy tracking in pixels. Again, that's something that I could walk you through. I might do a special training on it, put it on my YouTube channel. It's so easy. You can also ask ChatGPT or Claude, how do I set up a meta pixel? How do I do this? Gemini will help you too. Gemini is probably actually the best one for the Google tag especially. But you put that in your Google Tag Manager, and then you have all the data you need to retarget people that haven't put their email in, right? They're your top of funnel people that are shopping, but you don't know where they're shopping, right? You don't have their information to reach out to them directly, but Google does. So put that information in there. And then this is the data points that you really need to measure the success of your ads. So one of the reasons why I've always done more ads than content is because I can see the success of them. I can see the impact of them. I can see how much it's costing me to grab somebody's attention and then what actions they took after that. I don't see that with content. I just see a like or a save or a share or a whatever. And I'm really optimizing my content now to make it so powerful and effective that people reference it. So a save is really important for me, or a share. I really liked when I see that share button has like this Claude thing that we did recently about like 5 ways to like not use all your tokens in Claude. I had like 78 shares on it and I was like, awesome, victory. So you really got to like start with the end in mind. But those tracking and pixels are super important with ads, but also when you're looking at your organic content, because I know it's a big part of what we talked about in the beginning. That's super important to remember. Like, okay, if I have organic content, what am I trying to get here? I don't really care about likes anymore. In fact, I don't even show those on my feed, but I do care about comments. I do care about saves and shares. Those are what's important to me because it's really validating my content if people are actually taking the time to make a comment, or if I have mini chat activated, excuse me, or an automation. And then landing page alignment. Okay, and that's the last thing I'm gonna talk about on this. This is again, like I've seen so many ads that look nothing like what happens when you click that ad and then you go to a website that has it just doesn't look the same. And that immediately breaks trust for me. You have to have what's called continuity. So the ad has to look a lot like the landing page, just like tools.brittanypeeler.com. You put your email in, it's all the same color. You put your free code in, you put in Word in your email. It's going to take you to a guide that looks a lot like your landing page. And that builds trust, that builds continuity. That's alignment. That shows this woman really put time and energy and her heart and soul into this, and she really knows what she's talking about, and she really wants you to have the very best. But if you just slap an ad up that doesn't look like your landing page, that actually breaks trust. And there's a lot of data around that, but also my own personal experience because I buy a lot of things online too. And of course, in the advertising industry, I've seen it happen a lot of times. I have people so many times that that ask me, "Can you just take a look at what I'm doing? Because I think I'm doing it wrong." And I'd be like, sure. And there is a way to say, oh, yeah, I think we can do this better. And a lot of times it is a lack of consistency or flow. There's bottlenecks. All right. And then last but not least, creative testing framework, right? Never run just one ad. Super important. Like I said, you can have up to 10, have at least 3 to 5 variations, test hooks, visuals, offers, but only change one thing, right? So what does that look like? That looks like if I'm testing different hooks, I have the same creative for those hooks. If I'm testing different copy, I have the same creative, same thing. Yeah. If I'm testing different creative, I have the same words, right? Because if you have all these different variables, you're not going to be able to know, okay, that was my creative, or okay, that was my hook, right? Let Meta and Google determine the winner for you, right? So you'll get, okay, this hook and this and this and this worked the best and this worked the best. But it is a guessing game. After a while, you can do ad math and you can speak ads, but everything is changing all the time, including people's perception, where people are at. So even the people that you think are your buyers, they might not be your buyers anymore. Maybe they already solved that problem. Have you ever bought something online and then got all of these ads about it? Like, I just got that. I don't need that. Like, go away. Right? That's a perfect example of old data being used on you to sell you something that you already have. So again, continue to just test. And then like it's like a competition. It's really fun for me to look at, okay, that's working and that's working, and here's why. And let's just combine all of these. And even if it's just an A/B test, even if it's just testing two, you can always do that. And it's going to continue to evolve and go on. So, and it says your winning ad today will fatigue within 30 to 60 days, right? So you have to rejuvenate it in some way. You don't have to maybe change the content or the copy, but there's something about it that you get to change, especially if it's in a static image. And then the last one is the budget and the planning, right? The KPIs. What are you planning for? Know your numbers. What is your cost per click, your cost per lead? Those are so important. Again, that learning phase of 3 to 5 days, I've had people come to me like, I need a bunch of people to come to something I have tomorrow. Okay, well, you should have come to me last week because I can't help you tomorrow with that. So it takes time. So be patient. But again, that takes money as well. So without any benchmarks, right, then you can't, if we don't know what you're looking at, then why bother? And then I'm just going to recap this whole training, and then I'm going to turn the training. I know I've been talking for like an hour, so I want to make sure we have time for Q&A, but I just want to recap like the mission, should you choose to accept it. Okay. I know you came here for masterclass and paid ads, right? And what you actually got was a full system upgrade, right? Because ads without the right mindset are just expensive noise and static, as my friend Brittany likes to call it. So here's your complete mission brief. Again, should you choose to accept it, and I hope you do. Shift one, be real. I know you are, but be more real. Position yourself exactly as you are right here, right now. Sell your scars, not your wounds, right? If you're still bleeding, don't talk about it. Work on that healing in private. And then the scarring part, that's what we want to see, right? And it's the scar on your face about it. Build the conviction, right? You can't perform the conviction. You can't perform conviction. I want you to be so authentic that people can just see and taste it. And not like anybody else. Not like anybody else. Just be you. So be real. Two, I want you to grow out loud. I want you to be super honest with exactly where you're at, everywhere you're at. And that will help your expression problem so much. That will help your content. That will help everything. So you're going to offer that freedom expansion because people are going to see you expanding. So grow out loud, document the hard things, talk about them. Hey, I had this come up today. I don't know if you can relate. I don't like any kind of contrarian point of view. This is an unpopular opinion. I said that one on an ad, on a piece of content I did, and like ads aren't for everyone. And they're not. They're not. But people follow you and how you make them feel. They're not following your information. They're following you. And that's a responsibility. So be super honest and transparent with exactly where you're at and then grow with them. Invite them to grow along with you, just like we're all doing here. And number three, serve first. So detach from your outcome. That's going to help you become the best salesperson on the planet. Just here's what you need. Here's what you need. And then it's a byproduct of how much is that going to cost, Give generously, let reciprocity do its work. Clean intention closes more sales than any script ever written. Boom. Again, wish I had known that a long time ago. But I learned it the hard way. And I made a lot of mistakes and I embarrassed myself and I said things I really regret. And I'm grateful for those opportunities to learn. But I hope that you can take that shortcut that I just offered you and just go right into, you know, here's all the value I can give you. And and then it just is a no-brainer for people to pay you in return and the tech stack. So, and again, I'm going to put that training for how to set up a meta ad in I'm going to put it on my YouTube channel too, I think, but in our week 3 classroom. And if you have any questions about pixels or anything, like I said, Claude, Gemini, especially for the Google tags, and ChatGPT will help you set up those pixels, but I'm happy to help you as well. So just shoot me a message and yeah, and then the next move. This is it, your assignment. This is the end. Pick one platform, build one offer, write one ad, and launch it this week. Okay? Even if it's for $5 a day. So the algorithm rewards the bold, and so does the universe. And you're the hero of your story. I want main character energy from all of you. Okay? And I know that was a lot of information, but I am so excited to see what all of you create. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the recording off so we can have Q&A time.